Hello, week 10 of the Senna project. Every single stroke's been painted. It's been premiered live every week. I'm in the chat. Let's hook in. All right, so I've showed you every single stroke of this artwork live in real time. No time lapses, no anything. Today I'm going to concentrate on this sign writing here. It's week 10 this week. So last week I thought I was wrong and I was correcting myself, saying it was whatever, week 8 really, thinking, but it turns out I was right in the first place. So actually last week was week 9, even though I kept saying it was week 8, and so I was right in the first time. And what happened is, if you have a look, you can see a Senna playlist. So all the videos end up in this one playlist. Now somewhere on the line I actually didn't add one of them to the playlist. So when I was just cross-checking, I'm like, what's going on? There's a video missing. I must be wrong. So then I recorded the video correcting myself, and then I double-checked on my computer, go, no, there must be a mistake. And then I realised that I didn't actually put one of them into the playlist. So I was right in the first time. I thought today we'll just, I'll hook into the sign writing. This is a pretty simple part. I've got some stencils cut out for this off my one-to-one references. Just wanted to lay down the yellow first. That'll do. It's not the right yellow. That yellow is spraying like crap. It's a bit thick. It's been sitting around. That's been sitting around the longest since the helmet. So while that just dries, rinse it out, I'll get the red out now and hold my custom cut little stencil of that shell. And pull out the red. Now I'll use the red, the opaque red orange that I use as the base of the car. Thank you everybody for being here again. Appreciate you all come. Well, I keep saying it's not huge numbers, but you guys turn up every week and I really appreciate it. It keeps me motivated to keep going. Here's my little cutout off the one-to-one. So I've got quite a few. If I'll show you, there's a one-to-one reference. It fits perfectly over that, and I've cut it out off that. I used it, if you look back to the video 1, to really map it out. This Payne's Grey, this part here was in week 1, and that a lot of that sign writing through came from week 1, just spraying through the stencils to map it all out. Now I'm using the shields to work out the detail. Now I do have an outer one as well, but it's going to be too hard to hold them both. So what I'm going to do, be really careful, get nice and close on this, using this shield, this stencil in the right spot, and just go as close as I can to that edge. And then I'll pull the other one out to do the outer edge, if that makes sense. Not going to be the exact colour because the red's not covering as well as I would hope. And there's Payne's Grey already down. Doesn't matter. It'll just look like a darker red. No one's going to care. There's a million ways I could have done this. Could have got paintbrushes out, could have got Posca paint pens. But this is the way I decided to go with in the end. I've said before, you can massively simplify, especially race car sign writing. This will be plenty good enough. Look at that, lovely. Perfect actually. Now I've got the outer edge, which is the whole car. And I've just got to do that and be careful not to go inside and paint the yellow. Right, obviously I could literally just try and hold 2 at once, but I'm not going to do that. This will be alright. This is what I'm saying about the top edge first I did, and then now the next edge, the inner and outer edges. I just hand cut this with a razor blade. If a bit of overspray sneaks underneath, I've got the bit that I cut out here to use, and I can use white and do it the other way. But I think that'll be alright. Beautiful. I'll freehand just to tidy it up a little bit on the inner part. And I will use that one I just spoke of. It'll cover the whole thing because there's a little bit messy on the outer edge here and there, just to tidy it up. And my first stencil didn't actually have that one in, so I'll just freehand that. That'll do. Okay, that didn't take long. Shell done. It's very basic. That the next step will be with this red on the 8, but I'll do that now. Let's go to the 8. Just looking for that stencil. Here it is. This was, you can see the overspray of the Payne's Grey. This was just the mapping out. It never needed Payne's Grey there at all, but it was more about just locating it. I need to put something down, so that'll do there. A little bit of tape on the edge. Now you can see I cut this, so what they call it, islands and bridges. They're the bridges that are left, because if I cut all that properly, then that's an island and it floats around and doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. Yeah, it's not in the right spot. You can't. It's just a circle that. So you need the bridge to hold it in place. So there'll be some freehand going in that little gap in the bridge, and there is a slightly darker outline around the 8, but there is a little hint of the Payne's Grey there too. So I might not have to worry about it. So in real life, it probably is a really thin black line, but in a photo from that distance, it blends. It just looks like a darker red outline, but I bet you in real life, if you went up to it, it would be a really thin, like 1/8 black pinstripe line. You see, I just hold my fingers close to it because there's no glue holding it. It's literally just the tape on the edges, so I'm pressing it down as tight as I can. The tape makes it want to lift, and then overspray sneaking underneath. Alright, so now I'm just looking at it thinking, okay, will I attempt to do the dark little bit? Hasn't quite worked. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get the same darker red that I use, which is a transparent, and I'm just going to freehand it a little bit now. This, if you recall, last week was actually one of the shadow colours for the skin tone. Which is you know, orange with some blue added to it to make it a shadow. It's good enough to be as a red shadow too in this situation. Orange or red are close enough. The perfect shadow red is green added to it because it's complementary, but orange, this works. Definitely works. Okay, I just did a little bit more rinsing out. The airbrush isn't working super good today. Just a little bit dirty. I mustn't have cleaned it properly last time. Working okay, but you just you get a feel for it, you know. It just feels a very slight delay, so it just got a little bit dirty on the inside. After today's session, I'll give it a bit better effort in the cleanup. It's been really hot, so if I left a little hint of paint inside there, didn't quite rinse it out enough. I don't fully disassemble the airbrush every time I use it, then in this heat it will dry hard pretty fast. This is really subtle and I'm not worried. The inside edge is going to be a little bit fuzzy, but it won't matter. If you look at the reference, it almost is fuzzy anyway, because the camera's taken from such a distance, the photo's taken from such a distance, the car's moving, and like I said, if you zoomed in real life it'll be black, but black to do it now, even though that's the real life thing, would be the wrong choice. So I just got a hint at that darker edge with this colour, which is just shadow enough. It's not too dark at all. It's basically brown. Oh, here we go. I'll show you what. That's the brown. So it actually doesn't look nothing like orange at all, but it works perfect surface mix onto that. Now it's time to take that off, and I'll do the freehanding. Just see the hint of that outline. That's perfect what I want, but what's missing now is the bridges. So well, I've got the shadow colour. I might as well do that now, and I might just use this if I can find a spot that matches alright. There's a bit of a loose shield to feel the bridge. Alright, ooh, I haven't got one that side of it. I'm just trying to like the top one, right, where we've got the, it's got to be one of these circles. I know what I'll do for that. Alright, here we go. This one will do. This is the shell bit that I used before. It's got the curve the right way. And that will do for that one. And that one. And that one. And then I'll use this one for the top. There we go, outline's done. Now I don't want to lose, I'll just drop that on the ground. I don't want to lose that just in case I need it. I don't think I will. Oh, maybe I will. I wanted to tidy up around the outside of that, didn't I, with the, yes, I do need that one in a second with the white. Okay, now I'm just going to go back to that first red, and well, that's looking perfect. I'm really happy with that. Good rinse out again. And like every single week, forgot to put the timer on. Been going 15 roughly, so I'll put it for 45 to remind me. I'm really enjoying this artwork. I can't wait to see it finished, but I'm also really can't wait to see it finished. Like, I'm over it. Not over it as far as sick of it, I'm ready to move on to the next thing, right? Make a little bit slightly different YouTube videos. I'm building my level 2 course, which is all about decision making, which is a lot of what I'm waffling on about in these videos, about the choices. That's probably the good thing about these every single stroke live. Well, they're not live because it's pre-recorded, but it's effectively live because I'm not editing anything. Is I'm talking and you're getting my real life sort of thinking, you know, as I make these decisions, these choices. And the choices can be made easily because I'm not scared about any of those decisions wrecking the project. You know what I mean? So in case in point, I'm going back now to that shadow one. Just a freehand line here and there on the top. And if it's wrong, I can tidy it up with the white. It never ends. So there's no tension, there's no fear. As any decision will ruin it, right? That's not present at all. I'm saying, like, you could choose, and maybe it is the right choice. That's clean enough for me, but you could choose to be doing it with a paintbrush or a Posca paint pen or whatever. Alright, so there's a little bit of overspray. I am going to switch to the wall. Oh no, I was going to say, so yeah, he's thinking on the run. Switch to the white, clean that up, sign it off, but no, I'm going to pull the stencils back out and do some black on the Marlboro and the shell. The Goodyear and the Ford are done, good enough. They're really light in contrast to the white that's shining there. Yeah, that's good. I just looked at another thing that I didn't quite like when I stood back from a distance, but I'll do that when I hit the white. Okay, so transparent black, and it's thin, so it sprays nice, but it's still like quite powerful, so I've got to be really careful. So what I'm doing is, say on the Marlboro sign here, I'm not going to spray everything again through the shield exactly. I'm just going to bits and pieces here because there's a little bit of highlights and whatever. It's not going to be exactly the same, but I don't need to perfectly do everything. And here again, the O and the B, they're islands, right, with bridges cut on the stencils. But like so the O, for instance, it almost disappears there anyway. So maybe I don't even need to worry about that, like in the photo. Alright, so I'll put this one back up that I use for the 8 and line that up for the Marlboro here. Case in point, I didn't even actually cut that part out over there, but so there'll be a little bit of freehanding and stuff as well. This is the bit awkward because now that I've got that stencil over the top, I can't see what's painted and what isn't and whatever, so I'm going to use that as my guide as to where to paint. So I'll keep this nice and close. I need 2 hands because I need to be holding this stencil down. Now, first step, this part of the A is actually quite dark, so I'm going to just do that. None of it's going to be fully black. There's a bit of a fade out of that one. I'm just assessing the image as I decide how much or how little to paint of this sign. So it's going to stay fairly clean with not much work. Even to add to that, so the perfect example, the bridge that I made on the O, right? So there's just 2 half circles each side, so that where the O joins, I haven't got a stencil at all, but I'm going to make it fade 2 at each way to hint that they're there and without it looking odd. And I don't even think I'm going to need to actually freehand that bridge in. You'll see. Alright, that's pretty good. There's some freehand bits on the top part of that A, top part of the B, but you maybe I will. If I stand back, it looks alright. I'm glaring across at the monitor, and it does look fine. But we'll see here. Sort of shortcutting a little bit, maybe this isn't the right decision to make. I'm being a little bit lazy, and I'll make it work in the end. Okay, so it's actually alright. So I'm going to swap now to Payne's Grey, which is not as brutal as the transparent black. A little bit too blue. You see that's the Payne's Grey there. So, but that'll work for those lighter little bridge areas. Thin lines and stuff. Don't have to be perfect, but the Payne's Grey doesn't risk going too dark and looking too odd for those parts. Okay, now my reference actually stops there, so the sign running, but it looks a little bit odd, so I might even, I'm going to get the white later when I tidy up here and there and fog that to nearly disappearing. So it's going to look like, rather than make up a word, make up the R and the extra O, I might even hint at, with the Payne's Grey, a little bit of the R, but I'm mostly going to fog it away, so it's just going to look like the sun's reflected it and you just can't see. Like how here on the Marlboro it's like 80% gone because it's just the way the sun's hitting it. So it's not about pixel perfect, it's just about getting it done. This is very, very thin, so it sprays well, but I'm trying to do too much with it. It'll want to blow out because I can't see what I'm doing. So once I get a feel for it, I can put some really fine, delicate lines in. Which again, that's just comes from lots of experience being able to do that. If you're not there yet, then you make a different decision. Choose to a different way. So this is another rare thing. I rarely am painting close and light. Like, not for any other reason other than it's just easier not to. Which is why I rarely use stencils or templates or whatever. because I'm not trying to do that. There you go. That worked all right, I think. Okay, I'm going to switch now back to white and then call the sign writing done. Just the white's just going to tidy it up and put me bloody grubby fingers on there. It's a bit warm today. I've got I had an appointment this morning, didn't know how long it was going to take, so I had an annual leave day from my work, so it's day off, it's during the week, it's warm, instead of early on a Saturday morning or Sunday, whatever, this is like midday. It's very hot and my hands were clean, but obviously the sweat made a grubby muck. I wonder if, or maybe it was probably, oh, that's what it would have been, the paper has been sitting around for a while, so that would have got just dust and dirty and that and been fine on its own, and then I put my sweaty grubby hands on there and make it worse. I wonder if the eraser will help or hinder. Spread it around. Notice it's not panic, oh no, I've got to use the razor. It's like, maybe this is a better option, and it's sort of not. So it doesn't matter. How many of you have airbrushed with, oh, you got your razor out, but like not crapping yourself? Oh geez, I hope this works. I reckon probably everyone. So also here I was going to fog that away so it just about disappears, and that gives you the hint of it's meant to look like that and didn't need to have that super accuracy. Okay, I'm just freehanding in here because I can see it enough. I'm just tidying up some overspray. I don't want to risk putting more grubby prints on it from dirty paper or dirty hands, so I just decided it's easier to freehand in there. And the sharp edge is already made. Like, yes, I could destroy it with white, but it takes a bit. And I'm just working light enough to get rid of the light overspray. So it's just light work. So there's not much chance of me softening up that edge too much. And it's just so light overspray that doesn't take much to cover it or camouflage it at least. And if I do get some overspray on it, it just looks like a bit of sun reflection, like there. That's fine. Probably do that on purpose. There you go. So I just looked across and I thought, yeah, there's a sort of a slight fade to it. When I take the reference away, who's going to tell me it's wrong? Alright, so here's my plug again. I'm going to keep it brief. The free foundations course, fundamentals, still free. It won't be free forever. It's free, but it's linked in the video description. And feel free to get it. Level 1 is also complete. So if you've already got the fundamentals down and you want to take it to the next stage, have a look at that too. And that link's there too, but at the very least get the foundations course. Even if you're too good for it, have a look through it. There's actually a big part about inside that course about level 1, about my airbrush mountain, and the journey that I intend to take people on. It's I've gone through some mental stages this week about am I doing the right thing? I'm going to do all this building, and I know it works. It's been working absolutely like phenomenal with the guys I've been testing with, like just astronomically good. There is no doubt that it's working because of how well these guys have come, how far these guys have come. But I had some doubts, like, maybe I should just do how to paint a skull course and basic, but I think they'll be more successful straight up. But it's not going to teach you how to be independent. That's the thing. I don't want to teach you how to paint this one project and that's all you can do. I might do that later, but this core stuff that I'm making now, it's about teaching you how to pick any image you want and be able to paint it afterward once you've got the core skills. Now, and stop talking because done. That's done. All right. Now I'm just looking on this side here. Tidy up that. And put a fog over that side of it. Don't know what I did here, but that's wrong. If this edge is right, then that edge is wrong, or if that edge is right, then that edge is wrong. So let's just pick that one's right, and I'll move this one over a little bit. Beautiful. Alright, so I really want to say today that the body is done. So let's call, will I do the shell? Yes, alright, I'm going to do the shell. I was about to say, I'll finish the sign writing, but what I did with the Marlboro, I want to do with the shell lettering underneath there. So I'll give you 30 seconds to write in the chat. What was the first step at this stage? What colour did I pull out? I'm using the stencil. It's already got Payne's grey down. And my 30 seconds was really fast. If you said transparent black, you win the prize of the warm feeling that you were right. Okay, so same deal. I'm just gonna, there's not many of these letters actually cut out, so I'm just gonna lightly put it, definitely a bit stronger on the up and downs of the H, the start of the E. So I'm not gonna be as strong as it looks on there. And I think that'll probably do. That's it. I think. Yeah, that'll do. I'm actually going to just fog over it with white a little bit, just to kill it off a little bit. Because I was reasonably happy with it, with just the Payne's grey. I just wanted to add a little bit more depth, so I'm just going to rinse it out one more time. I'm often away from the camera this morning or today because I'm doing a lot of rinsing out as I'm quickly swapping, changing colours. But I'm quicker than I would have been if I had been using a normal gravity feed because I'm swapping over the bottles. So same as before, I'm just tidying up with white. I'm just going to fog over lightly just to kill that slight intensity off with the black. And there's a little bit of mark there that I didn't like, and that's done. There you go. Now if I zoomed in real close, which I'm not going to, that looks great on my monitor, and it looks okay up close. When you stand back, it's going to look unreal. No one's ever going to look at it again, except for this grubby mark there. Not grubby, it's must be a little bit of black still coming through the when I rinse out. There you go, that's done. Alright, nose cone, done. Let's move on. I'm going to switch now to T black because there's a shape here that I haven't done and tidy up. That's pretty good. There's a couple little shapes there. There's an arm on the, so I'm going to, actually I'm going to go Payne's grey first because there's a bit of Marlboro on the side there, or maybe it said something else, but I dare say it said Marlboro. You can't make it out now, so I just got to do some rough sort of lines and stuff to make it look like it's sign writing. Got to do that because it's behind the arm of the mirror. I'm just going to freehand that. It's going to be nowhere near as accurate as the photo, but it's going to be good enough. I've got to tidy up here. I don't know what I've done there. See, this is that I've done. This is wrong. Yeah, so if you line that, it should go to there. So I've pulled that in too far. So I don't know what I did there, but I have to pull the white out and bring that out further. And there's some little shapes and stuff in there as well. Now I'm just looking how far down that goes. This is the bottom of that the stem for the mirror. Goes way down here. That's where that finishes. See, it doesn't actually say anything, and it'll be fine when I finish it. Tied up with a little bit of white, but it doesn't say anything in that photo either. I mean, it does in real life, obviously, but you can't make it out from that angle and the speed and all that sort of stuff. There's something going on here as well. Just put some sort of shadow, that'll do, and that'll be up there. Okay. Switch to white. Today, like I said, I've got a day off from my day job, and I had to go into Sydney, which is like an hour and a half drive or an hour train, so I caught the train. On the way back, Steve Lee's live went on, so I got to watch it. Normally I'm working when all you guys in America are putting your lives on, so it was nice to jump on. I jumped in and chat a little bit, but didn't have my glasses and I couldn't see what I was typing. It was a little bit awkward, so I did do a few comments, but just sat there and watched it most of the way for the hour. It wasn't quite an hour because I was already on the train for a bit by the time it started, but yeah, that was good. He's amazing, airbrush artist Steve Lee here. He often comments after, sometimes he pops in on these. But yeah, and he gave me a bit of a shout out, which was really nice. They'll do. Now while I'm here, will I tidy up some black while I've got the white? I'm just trying to reduce the amount of times I'm swapping and changing colours. There's a bit of overspray here that I don't like on the black. Oops. My white's spraying really nice today, like as long as I keep using it lightly, because it's thin. And just made me remember Bjorn emailed me. He was having some problems with dry tip and stuff like that, which everyone has, and obviously it's especially exaggerated on the white. But I did give him a tip which I forgot about. It was about polishing the needle, which really does help. Some metal polish and gently polish the needle. Because what happens, you get microscopic little damage, so it makes it, it's not damage, like little pits and stuff. You got the microscope thick enough, you'll see all the pits and stuff, and it's something that the paint wants to grab onto. So if you polish it, you can sort of smooth it over a little bit, and the paint wants to flow over, and dry tips less. I'm not saying it solves it, it doesn't, but it definitely flows nicer. So much so that I actually said that this wasn't working really good today. It's working better as I've got going, but maybe my cleanup today I might take the needle out and just give it a little bit of metal polish and just give it a bit of a wipe over. I used to, now I don't recommend doing this, like put it in a drill and then hold it and turn the drill wheel slowly, but that's dangerous. Don't do that. That's crazy town. So I'm just gonna use it on a rag, metal polish, and just rub it by hand. It does make a difference. Alrighty, okay, this is why I've got the white. I've got to do this part that I had stuffed up before. So the car actually goes way back here and up here, and if I'll just through there. It's getting really warm in here today, guys, so this might be just an hour on the dot one this week. We're getting close. I just wanted to finish that. I wasn't going to think about doing the tyres or anything today, just little tweaks. We'll get all that done, then I'll have just the tyres and the helmet to go. The helmet, I've already pre-cut all the stencils for the sign writing, just the two main ones, so hopefully it doesn't take that long to do. Okay, I'm going to get some red out. Not even going to bother rinsing it. Again, just a hint at whatever's going on up the top here. This looks like red and even yellow or something. I'm just going to put the red and maybe some shadow red. Because from memory, there's actually a big solid red part of the back of this cow. But it's probably reflecting some different things and whatever. But anyway, you just do what you see and try and imagine it. Okay, shadow red. Again, make a little bit of it bit more complex in there. Not rinsing out again, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to pull the white back out, brighten up a couple of little spots. And we will be done. This shadow colour is transparent and very thin, very weak, so it can blow out quickly, but it also, if I'm careful, it can build up and because it's transparent, it can get really dark, which is nice, but as long as I'm controlled in the way it builds up and it doesn't pull up and blow out on me. Anyway, that'll do. It's nothing like that, but that'll do. I say white back out now, clean up that, then I might clean up this, can't see it on there, but there's a hint of overspray on some of the background. I'll just tidy that up with Payne's Grey. You might ask, why don't you use the colour they are? Well, it's very grey in here, you know, so a lot of that's Payne's grey anyway, but in this colour, I could, but it's that light that I'm covering up that you won't see it. Like, Payne's grey will do the job, and there's one colour will do the whole lot in one hit. Because the best thing about Payne's grey, because it's made up of red, yellow, blue, it can go over any colour, and it turns into the shadow colour of the colour that it's on top of, right? So yellow is probably the only one where it can sometimes not quite work, because it can go green, depending on how close to red your Payne's grey is. Yeah, anyway, because you want purple for a shadow yellow, so it's not just like, oh, this is the perfect shadow colour for everything. But in this situation, it would work perfect. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. That's actually not right anymore, because that I put in was actually for that. So that's annoying, because this is the part I want to brighten up. And it's annoying because this part I've got to turn grey, so I'm just going to fold over it a little bit, get grey out, opaque grey, and redo some of those areas. Okay, so I'm just fogging over the whole area now, tidy up the overspray from the mirror. The sort of less happens on the big stuff because I'm zoomed in so much doing the little details. Okay, so what I just said about Payne's grey, forget it for a second. Switch to the opaque grey. Let's adjust this part here behind Senna's head. Alright, that'll do. Thinking. Back to white one more time. Not even going to rinse it out though. It'll be come out light grey, because that's fine. I don't like that little part that I just did. Let's fog over that. There we go. That's working how I like it now. Lovely. Done. Just edge of the mirror again. Now I'll get the Payne's grey and tidy up that little bit of overspray and move on to the next section. When you're getting this point where you're swapping and changing so much, it's when you're getting closer to the end, when you're doing smaller amounts of work in between switching colours. That's well, it's an indication that you're getting close to the end, but what you got to do is finish little sections and sign off on them, or actually start getting confused, especially on the artwork so big. You start getting a bit lost, and you miss stuff at the end. So you go, all right, I'm finally finished, and then you'll look later and go, I didn't do that little bit. I've made the edge and I'm blending off it, and like I said, this colour is going to be wrong, but it's not going to be too bad. I made a little bit of an error there with I just went onto the mirror a little bit, so we'll have to get the white back out and fix that. that's all. I'll tidy that up. Now I just realised this is a dark sort of streak here, so I'll just use this Payne's Grey while I'm at it. It's not a dark streak, a dark line of from the wing. This part of the wing isn't accurate either, but if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't have known. That's the point. Maybe you would have and you're waiting for me to fix it, but tough luck, I'm not. See, there's like a little gap of whatever in there. Don't need to worry about that. What gap? This is meant to be sharper. What are you talking about? I don't see what you mean. Okay. Tidy up that mirror for the 15th time. Perhaps I should just forget about it for a second and I'll do that mirror stem in case I need to tidy up that mirror again. So I'm switching now to transparent black from Payne's Grey. And I'm doing that so I can do this stem. Right, that'll do. Beautiful shadow that needs to go on there, and I'll do that with the grey. I'll do that with Payne's Grey because I want to add a little bit of shadow in the bottom of the mirror, even though it's not really there in the photo. But when I stand back and look at my artwork, it's just not quite, it looks too much of a jump from the bottom of that mirror to the stem. There's actually a little bit extra depth there. This is Payne's Grey. With that, this will be a really good shadow as I go across there. Down there and bring that into that. There we go. Behind this mirror is now a little bit darker than it needs to be, so lucky I didn't do that white for the 15th time, tidy up that mirror, because now I'm going to do that and I'll use the white, tidy up that front edge and the edge of this mirror, which has now got a little bit overthrown as I darken the back with Payne's Grey. With some real clean, whatever this might be, the harness buckles or something. It'll help define the edge, the front edge of the cockpit. Right. And there's a little black spot. I don't think it's meant to be there. If I paint it, it'll look like I did a mistake. So I'm not going to paint that. Okay, switch to the white. Slowly signing off on little bits and pieces, guys. I hope it's not boring you too much today. If I pause the video now, my time's going to go off in 5 minutes. That'll be an hour And if you compare the two photos, it's going to be like what you just painted an 8 and a shell sign. That much different. So for that reason, I just changed my mind. I've got to rework some more here. I want to at least finish that down here, finish this section and go signed off. Be nice to do the glove too, but I might leave the glove for when I do the helmet. Yes, I'll do that. Tyres next week, helmet the week after. I'm done. There we go, sharpen that up, sharpen this front edge. When I'm doing this, I'm not like fully covering it in. I can still sort of see through it, but it does enough. When you stand back, it's sharpened up the edge. I'm getting that really tight edge, which is probably only really, in reality, 50% covered, but it's enough to see it. And then I'm blending off it, and voila, it is sharp enough. Same as under here. I just want a sort of bit of a refracted light. A hint of it. Even though that's the shadow side, the light sort of bounces off the car and half lights the underside. Like so. Okay, next bit, I'm just looking what part to do. Let's get the black out, put this little shape in. Black on top of that. I did charcoal on these parts, but there's the black. T-black, let's work hard on T-black. Timer's going to go off any minute. So I'm going to actually stick with this colour for a bit now. There's been a lot of stop. The difference is, look, I've got a camera next to me where normally I'm just reaching across, but I'm sort of stopped, standing back, walking around the camera, doing my stuff. I guess I could put it on my right side, but there's not really enough room. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that there's a lot, as I'm getting close to the end, there's a lot of stop, start, switching colours and stuff, which is a huge advantage for gravity feed. Siphon feed even. Which is the opposite of gravity feed. Okay, so just cleaning up that little bit. Yeah, why I started here in the part where I'm just going to clean it up. One, it shows me that it's rinsed out enough. Right, it's a safe little area, but also just gets me warmed up. Get it? Okay, the airbrush is working and it's all good. Okay, what's this? It's like a. There we go. I'll do the usual. 30 minutes more, but hopefully I'll stop before that. Definitely need to polish it, need a little bit. It's like, even real close, it's sort of not a perfectly straight line, it's a little bit off. It's like almost like a double line. Very subtle, but I like my airbrush is working. If I go down this angle, it's fine, but when I go that angle, it'll be a little bit of a thicker line. So that means there'll be a little bit of dry paint on one sort of edge of the needle. If I just spend a little bit of time and just give it a good polish, it'll be brand new next time. Okay, that'll do. That part's for the wheel. I'm going to do the wheel. Okay, there's some little shapes here. I'm going to get the Payne's Grey. There's some shadows coming off some of these control arms and stuff. And I don't want to use black to do it. Right, I'm going to switch to Payne's Grey to do some of those ones. While I've got this going, I'm going to make this one black again. Interesting, there was a few comments last week or a couple of weeks ago. I'm painting this before the next week's video is uploaded, but about how they couldn't make it out. I thought I was making mistakes because I was close in, and only when I zoomed out there you could see the whole thing. That's interesting observations. This is pretty much, these are just black. I did them with the grey last week just to put them in. I'm just going to go over them again with the black. Black over the opaque grey is better because I don't need to look at. There's nothing really to cover, so it just makes it a little bit easier. Having said that, I just got overspray where I didn't like it. In some ways I'm not really designed, no, not designed. I don't really do cars that well because I get lazy, so used to just freehanding everything. There are just some things that, especially with a car, where really it should be masked. And like I did mask here and there, but I freehanded over the top and freehand most. Like this part, there's some parts there, I should just mask that. But it's just slow and awkward and doesn't matter. But if I was going for like absolute photo real, then you would mask some of those. Alright, that's that done. Let's Payne's Grey now. I'm going to do some more of those shadow work. Even so on that red, I'm just looking at it, that red isn't quite dark enough now that the black's there to give me that relativity. So I'm going to cheat and use Payne's Grey. So it won't be the exact colour that it should be, but it's going to do the separation that I want. Okay, so first let's just do these shadows that I want to do. Again, not really the right colour. Close enough. It's going to work. Perfect example of how the Payne's Grey made a shadow version of the grey that's there, and also made a shadow version of the red. At the same time, just surface mixed it to the right colour. It worked for both of those quite well. but it's not really the right way to do it because I'm being light and careful because it's probably too powerful, right? The best way would be to make the opaque version in red, and that way when you go 100% you still can't go too dark. If I keep going on that a bit too much, it'll be too much. Okay. Right. This is me now not really looking at the reference, but just looking how it's reacting on my canvas. Yeah, it attaches to the body. Okay, looking good. Just decided that I'm going to use Payne's Grey and do this part here. I'm going to mask some bits of the white on that spoiler. Here, this edge now, I'm going to, because it's very important, that's a nice crisp, sharp edge. So that's going to be the last thing I do today, I think. There's some little highlights and little bits and pieces in the inside there, which I'll look at later, maybe not today. Okay, rinsing out again. Now there was something else in my head before I got that white out. Oh no, getting the white out, I want to freehand where the chrome or metal part where it bolts into the car at the top here. Okay, that. Again, just defining some of these edges and not fully blocking in white parts. I'm just defining some edges, maybe lightly brightening it here and there. It's a little cleaner. There's some work needs to be done in this next week. Just tidying up some overspray here, really lightly. The white is working really nice and blending in okay. I don't need to sort of go back over that again. I'm getting to the point now where the more I keep doing, just that little bit better it's going. A little bit it's getting even. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that so far. Oh no, and I'll see another spot. This reflection is not quite in the right spot. So let's make a new one. There you go, that's better. Okay, time to put that little bit of tape on and just this edge on here. Oh no, and those two. So. There, and here I'm not going to do this one yet. That's going to have to be done next week. That gets moved to the tyre section. Okay, now, no, I'm not going to go flat out, oh this is fully white, I'm just lightly dusting that edge, blending it out just to camouflage that overspray. Well, it does cover it, but it's not much overspray. I'm not like blasting a whole big area, even though I can mark it up, and I probably could if I wanted to. I'm just blending it out from that edge. And even as it is now, I can see that the edge isn't fully covered. It's about 80% covered, and that'll do. You watch when I take this off. Yeah, not too much, but just enough. Right. I think I'm going to call that today, guys. I was just looking backward out, so we'll sign off on this area today. And I'm just picturing next week. Let's just do the helmet next week. We'll see how many weeks that takes. It shouldn't take that long, but then that way we can say this is all done. I was going to jump to there, but then this is still going to annoy me. Glove and helmet next week, then the tyres, then underneath, then any adjustments. So what do I say, this is definitely, did I say week 10? Doesn't matter how many it is, I just, in my head I just need it all finished. All right, thank you everybody for coming again, much appreciated. Hit the like. You know, it'd be cool. I just realised today when I was watching Steve's on my phone, Steve Leahy's, it was hard to actually navigate back to the like while I'm in the chat. So when this finishes, right, as I take this across and give you a wide view, take that off. When this video ends, refresh your screen. Right, and it'll go back to the start of the video, and just hit like. And if you're really keen and you want to really help, to put a little comment in there too, that'll be cool. Okay, thank you very much. This is looking good. Yes, I'm happy. All right, thank you, and see you all next week.